Nau mai, haere mai. Welcome to the Maxim Institute podcast. My name is Jason Heel. I'm the Communications Manager at Maxim Institute, and this is our weekly short-form podcast. These podcasts are released in tandem with our weekly column and are a chance for you to hear in depth from the column's author about some of the thinking that went into producing their final piece. Today, we hear from Maxim researcher Alapasita Teu about her recent column. Welcome back to the podcast. Great to have you.
Always a pleasure. Never a chore.
No, never a chore. Very good. Well, Ala, every school day is a big day, or so we're told. This is the title of a recent campaign by the Ministry of Education to get people back to school, I guess.
Yes. So
give me a bit of detail around that.
Yeah, I'll give you a bit of context of this campaign. So this particular campaign is essentially part of the Ministry of Education / the government's work to address some of our, we've got a truancy crisis on our hands. We've got our national school attendance rate is at about, I think roughly around 56, maybe 59%. That means a third of our children aren't in school.
Wow.
Yes. So
that's huge,
yeah. Right? And this campaign in particular is trying to highlight, that school isn't just turning up from 9 to 3, that there are some big and small moments.
So school isn't just reading, writing, arithmetic all day, boring stuff.
Correct. There's more to it. Lots of the extracurricular things, some of the social engagement stuff. This campaign this campaign hopes to do is bring those big and small moments in the school day to our screens or a radio station or social media platform near you, so that I guess in some ways families and parents are reminded that actually these moments make every school day a big day, hence the tagline.
Yeah, so it's not so much aimed at the kids going, guys, this is what you're missing out on, but it's going to the parents and saying, guys, this is what your kids get to participate in when they go to school, and it's not boring, it's actually really fun, and they will learn more than just what they're learning, what you think they're learning in those moments.
Correct. I presume that the primary audience or target audience are parents, caregivers, guardians, families. Essentially, I put it as the adults in that child's life to say, hey, look, this is what your child is missing out on. You should do your part, or we are encouraging you to do your part in bringing them to school. And in order for them to participate in the small and big moments and of a school day is to be on site at school.
Okay, great. Well, thanks for that context. But your column this week is called Education Woes Need More Than Campaigns.
Correct.
And you highlighted the fact that education is kind of a political football or hot potato that gets passed around, and there seems to be a lot of planning, a lot in the pipeline. Whenever someone brings up, they're like, well, we've got this plan that we're going to implement, but we never quite get to boots on the ground. Let's get practical about this.
Sure.
Do you think part of that is to do with the attitude of parents and caregivers, that maybe is a bit of apathy around school and public education in New Zealand?
Yeah, I wonder if it's just a combo of COVID fatigue and perhaps trying to pick back up daily rhythms of what used to be normal pre-COVID times. I think if we look at truancy in particular, we've seen a decline in our school attendance rates over the past decade. So it's nothing new under the sun. Yeah. It's not like it just appeared because COVID gave way for it.
Fell off a cliff at the end of
this
COVID.
Has been a slow decline, but it's gotten to a point where we really need to give it attention. I think part of our truancy crisis is our nation's apathy towards education, or even investing. I think that's at all levels, at families, communities, government, policymakers, maybe even teachers, actually.
Do you think that some of this slow decline has been because of the hot potato nature of it, and they're like, oh, look, it's going down, but it's not that bad, we'll kick it down the road?
Yeah, it doesn't help that education isn't a standing issue that gets, that has policies that remain irrespective of who's in power or who's in government at the time. It gets used as you said, as a political football, which is really unfortunate, because the biggest losers out of all of that is children, is the learner, is the student. And so that gets absorbed, that the political nature of it distracts from actually making sure that our students are really learning, and that our curriculums and our teachers, basically the whole sector, is equipped to teach and ensure that learning goes on regardless of who's in government.
And in that way, I think the whole country loses out, because the children are the future, and if they're not being set up well for the future, then they won't lead or be good citizens or, participate in society well in the future either.
Yeah, correct. I mean, education in many ways is a game changer, a circuit breaker, an equaliser in various societies, not just in the West. So if we're getting we're getting a generation of students or children that are missing learning, that we're going to get adults that are illiterate, don't know numeracy skills, or don't have enough numeracy skills to function and participate in that society. So what we do today really matters for tomorrow, and we're not doing enough today.
So on that point, just to close us off, what can we do today that will secure our future? Absolutely.
So part of this campaign is also a strategy that governs it, which is out of the Ministry of Education, and that's their school attendance strategy, and then they've labelled it as all-in learning. I think this is an all-in, or team, everybody in the team of 5 million that we've heard lots about in the past few years needs to be on board. So our families and our parents, we need to be engaging, investing in our children's learning, read with them, check in on their progress in schools, where are the gaps in their learning, what can you do at home, for our communities, encouraging programs that really go on about literacy and numeracy, maybe investing in those, because education is also a determinant for other things like health and income, etc. In terms of, at a more macro level, our politicians and decision makers and policy makers need to think, when they put things together like campaign strategies, is this good enough for my child? If it isn't good enough for your child, why is it good enough for every other child?
Great. Awesome. Thanks, Ala.
Thanks for having me.
And now let's hear from Ala as she reads her column.
Every school day is a big day, we're told. These ads are coming to a radio, TV screen, newspaper and social media platform near you. The latest nationwide campaign to address our truancy crisis launched last week. It encourages parents, families and students to return to school. The campaign highlights the missed opportunities to engage in the big and small moments of a school day that all count towards learning. Associate Education Minister Jan Tinetti notes that the campaign supports on-the-ground and practical measures to address our truancy issues. Whilst this appears to be a positive step in the fight against truancy, one wonders how a communication plan ranks as such a high priority amongst other more targeted and practical actions to address school absenteeism. Redesigning the attendance service model to be more inclusive of schools, parents and guardians and local communities is a low priority, despite noted dissatisfaction with the 2013 changes to the national service. So is, it seems, addressing within school factors that contribute to negative school attendance, factors like retaining teachers, teacher quality education and a national school curriculum, and teaching pedagogies will help to address our worsening literacy and numeracy levels. There is merit in nationwide efforts to encourage our parents and guardians to collaborate with schools in the duty of care for our children's learning by playing their part. However, this campaign has highlighted our nation's apathy toward the current state of our compulsory education system. Media coverage of the post-COVID impacts on our learners, teachers and schools has been the bare minimum. Our politicians continue to use education as a political football to the detriment of our children's learning and futures. The public has yet to see a targeted catch-up plan or anything to address the post-COVID impacts on our compulsory education system and students. We've seen the coverage of teacher workforce shortages and teacher burnout, yet we are making minimal effort to address this. Our long-standing truancy issues are simply a symptom of an education sector crying for help. From chronic school attendance issues to declining literacy and numeracy rates, we need more than communication plans. Now more than ever, in dealing with the aftermath of 2 years of disrupted learning, our children need champions for their futures across all sectors of the education system. Our communities and families must push past the unconcern for our children's learning and get them back into learning settings. The campaign also reminds us that schools can only do so much. Parents and families must take responsibility for their role in their child's education. At the government level, we need the Ministry of Education to optimise local solutions and amplify what schools are doing to combat truancy. We must eliminate strategies that act as a smokescreen for lack of activity. We need more long-term thinking that is proactive and addresses our present education issues and works to conserve education as a gift to be passed on to future generations.
Thanks for listening to the Maxim Institute podcast. If you'd like to hear more from us and keep up with the rest of our research and analysis of politics and policy in New Zealand, you can sign up on the homepage of our website to get our monthly forum email and invitations to future Maxim Institute events. You can search and subscribe to us on Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, or wherever you get your podcasts. From the team at Maxim, mā te wā. Goodbye for now.